What's good, my people? Welcome into Buckets Action Network's daily NBA betting podcast. We're in the workshop Thursday NBA slate, and it's back to regular scheduled programming. Sean Little, J Money is Money. Go subscribe to the man's YouTube channel, NBA Talk with Jay. He's on there daily giving out winners. We are recording this episode live from our Tommy John home studio. Go subscribe to the Action Network YouTube page. You see the vibe that me and Jay give off on the video is necessary. We giving away information just off the facial expressions. Go download the Action Network app, subscribe to the Action Network YouTube page. You know how we do. We give the play, we give the cap, we get you guys out of here. Only a 4-game slate here on this Thursday. Not a lot of interesting spots. But I found a spot I like. J Money, talk to me. What are you looking at? Best bet for the NBA slate on a Thursday.
Yeah, I'm looking at the Orlando Magic plus the 4.5. We do record this podcast the night before, so hopefully nothing happens injury-wise. Do need to make sure everyone makes it out of that game okay. But follow me in the Action Network app. If I do end up on the Magic plus the 4.5, I will have it in the app.
Yeah, we're aligned. And we don't share our plays before we hop on. I hopped on. We shared our play at the exact same time. Me and Jay were aligned on this. I'm also on the Orlando Magic plus the 4.5. As Jay mentioned, they are getting ready to tip against the Clippers, so they'll be on a back-to-back. Keep an eye on the injury report. Keep an eye on that game and go back. Listen to this in the morning. Go back and see what happened. See if anything changed. But I like the Orlando Magic getting the points. Jay, I'm going to let you go first. Talk to me about why you were looking at this spot specifically. And you have another lean that we'll get into as well.
Yeah, so they've been getting owned by the Lakers here as well. Obviously, first I'll talk about the Magic because they do somewhat struggle on the road, but this is where I'd like to take them when they're catching points, where people are not expecting them to win. One thing I don't want to do with the Magic is lay points with them on the road. They're only 2-6 straight up on the road this year. This shout out to Matt Moore as well. He had a really great stat that home teams in Orlando Magic games are 26-2 straight up in their last 28 games. So it just kind of says that the Magic obviously aren't that great of a team on the road, but I do think they'll be hyped for this game versus the Lakers. If you look at the Lakers as well, this team has one of the worst transition defenses in the NBA, and they're also looking for a big as well. So they don't really have a ton of size right now outside of Anthony Davis. I believe AD is questionable in this game as well, right, Sean?
Yes, at the moment.
Yeah, I expect him to play, could possibly even get a better line. Like if AD is in, it'll go up to at least 5.5. But I feel like this line is pretty fishy in my opinion. I think the Lakers, you could probably, especially with the Magic being on the back-to-back, Sean, you could argue that the Lakers could be laying 6.5, 7.5 points here. So they've won 6 straight games as well. Only 3-3 against the spread. And as you saw versus teams like the Pelicans and the Jazz, who aren't as great as the Magic is, obviously, the Lakers just can't hold the lead. You can't really trust land points with them right now. Their defense is not playing well. They're also only 3-7 against the spread in their last 10 games. So even though the Magic aren't as great on the road, I think they will be turned up for this particular game. Defense travels. It's one of those cases where I want to take the points with the better defensive team here. So obviously they're still missing Banchero. They don't really have a true ball handler out there, but I think they can have some matchup advantages for the Lakers on the defensive end. And as long as you guard the three-point line, make sure connect for guys like LeBron aren't going crazy in this one. I think the Magic actually have a chance to win this game outright. Like I said, we are recording this the night before. The way that I'm seeing it, I'd like for the Magic to lose versus the Clippers and then win this game versus the Lakers. That's how I'm looking at it. So if they win versus the Clippers, I'll be honest with you, I won't like it as much, but I'm expecting them to take a L in that particular game. And like I say, line is super fishy in this game as well. Both teams have won 6 straight, but let's hope that the Magic are coming off a loss and they're really motivated to get this win. So I haven't bet it yet. Obviously, got to make sure everyone's in for this with no major injuries, but I do like the spot. I like the line. It speaks Magic plus the points and possibly even outright a little sprinkle on the money line here.
No doubt. It opened 5.5, immediately went down to 4.5. Immediately took Orlando Magic money, and that number moved before the Clippers game tipped off. It's a back-to-back. Not all back-to-backs are built the same. No travel here for the Orlando Magic. And I don't know. Actually, you know what? I'm not even going to go that way. They're going to be, they're on a back-to-back in LA with no travel. We'll just keep it at that. Now, Jay Money, you talked about the 6-game win streak. I want to talk about this because everybody's flying high in LA. JJ Redick feeling good. LeBron James dancing on the bench. Dalton Connect going crazy. 27 2 nights ago, 37 last night. But hold on a second. The Lakers have won 6 in a row, and I'm here to tell you it's fugazi. It's a farce, Jay Money. 6 straight wins are against Philly, Toronto, Memphis, where they allowed 123 points with no Ja Morant or Desmond Bane on the floor. They needed a 35-point triple-double for LeBron James to win by 5 points. Then, San Antonio. Then, Utah. The 5 previous games before that were all on the road. And guess what, Jay Money? They went 1-4. They had no answer for anybody on the road. This game is in LA, yes. But for me, the Lakers have one quality win the entire season. And that's game 2 of the season against the Phoenix Suns. Go back and combine the 11 games I just mentioned, Jay Money. Lakers are 25th in defensive rating, 20th in second chance points allowed, 28th in points allowed in the paint at 55 per game. By the way, the Magic only allow 41 in the paint a game. That's for the entire season. Over that 11-game stretch, it's even better. It's like 39.6. That's number 1 in the NBA. Something I'm not sure people realize with the Lakers, 19.7 of their made field goals are coming from the restricted area. They're picking up almost 40 points at the rim, exactly where the Orlando Magic don't give up any buckets.
Mm-hmm.
It must be nice, Dalton Connect, that the Utah Jazz just let you get wherever you want 4 or 5 possessions in a row, Jay Money. They let him get to the left wing 4 possessions straight, and he was able to get a look off with little to no resistance. I'm going to tell you something right now. Jalen Suggs is not letting that shit rock. Anthony Black is not letting that rock.
Mm-hmm.
This is going to be a completely different looking game than what the Los Angeles Lakers have been looking at the last 6. They've been playing bottom feeders in the NBA, and yes, they've won off 6 straight. And to be completely honest, they're not even blowing these squads out.
Mm-hmm.
They're getting ready to get put in the torture chamber against the Orlando Magic, who have the best defense in the NBA for me. If you go look at the adjusted numbers on dunks and threes, anywhere you want to look at strength adjusted schedule, defense, they're all there. Everything's at the top. Every category, they lock up and they play D. That's exactly what's going to translate, as you mentioned, against this Los Angeles Lakers team. If you're going to give me almost not 2 full possessions, but a possession and a half in a game where the total is 216 and a half, I have to take it. I have to take the Orlando Magic in this spot. If you could get a 5, that's great. I'll take the Orlando Magic at 4.5.
Yeah, if AD plays, it'll be 5 here. But you make a lot of great points there. And remember, AD and LeBron were in Space Jam as well. Well, guess what? They're going up against the Monstars in this one. You look at the Magic, like this team is literally like tall as hell, man. Everybody out there is tall as hell. They're definitely one of the tallest teams in the NBA. Like I said, I always worry about their ball handling, but Franz Wagner does an okay job. Jalen Suggs does an okay job. We can't forget that they're still without Ben Carroll, but they have gotten used to playing without them as well. So 6-0 straight up, 6-0 against the spread. So far, that's before the Clippers game, but I'm liking it. That's the only spot really that truly speaks to me that I'll probably have money on. But there is another lean that I had, but I'm definitely we'll talk about that whenever you're ready, Sean. But yeah, I think the Magic get the job done here.
And real quick, the Wagner boy, shout out our guy Shaq. Last 4 games, 32-8-5. 29-3-6, 31-11-6, 32-5-8. They don't have an answer for that man in LA. The reason
That's a
that
fact.
you could get Anthony Davis for DPOY right now at 16-1 is because he's the only guy playing D. He's not going to win DPOY because the defensive numbers for the Los Angeles Lakers, when push comes to shove towards the end of the year, are going to be bad. And they don't award the DPOY to a guy that's overall defense is bad. That's why Gobert has been getting the extra bump throughout the years, because he's the anchor of a top 2-3 defense in the NBA.
Right.
That's how you win DPOY. That's why Anthony Davis is 16-1. I'll take the Orlando Magic and the points.
Before we move on here, a quick announcement. Action Network is running back our annual Black Friday sale, offering our best prices of the year on a year-long Action Pro subscription. So if you still aren't a pro subscriber, visit actionnetwork.com/Black Friday to get $40 off a year of pro and receive instant access to all the picks and projections from our guys, Colin, Calabrese, the whole Action Network team, as well as instant picks from guys like Brandon Anderson. That's actionnetwork.com/Black Friday for the best price of the year on Action Pro.
J Money mentioned a total. He's not a totals guy, as everybody knows, but what are you looking at here, J Money?
So I do have a heavy lean to the Detroit Pistons and the Hornets game going over. I know that their last 7 matchups between the two teams have went under. The Hornets had this nice streak where early, because remember, they have Charles Lee over there. He's a defensive guy from the Boston Celtics. He was really preaching defense. Well, that's kind of slowed down. Now, they did have 6 straight unders, but if you look at it, the last 3 games, the pace has really picked up for the Hornets. 3 straight overs versus the Bucks, the Cavs, and the Nets as well. I think it could potentially happen here as well. And if you really think about it, it makes a ton of sense. The Hornets don't have a center out there. So when you don't have a center, that means you're running small ball. That means easy buckets at the paint. Jalen Duren probably goes bunkers in this particular game. Cade Cunningham, who likes to get to the rack, get in the paint, could go bunker. Jaden Ivey as well. They could go bunkers here. But on the other side, I do see guys like LaMelo Ball continue to have success. He got benched in their last game as well in a 1-point loss versus the Nets. So we know that he's going to be motivated to come back here. Brandon Miller has really taken a nice leap this year. They will have Trey Mann back as well, who's been their best player off the bench. So I think there's a lot of things working for both offenses here. And this number, I feel like it's definitely a number where they can get over the total here. So I know that the Pistons' last 3 games have went under. Like I say, I'm not really a big totals guy. I know people like to look at pace and all this type of stuff. But me personally, just looking at the matchups of these two teams, I think that we'll see some points in this particular game. I could see a 115, 113 type of game here easily. I think it actually kind of flies over the total. So I'll have to talk with my total experts in this one to see if I actually get there and put money on it. But just the way that I look at games, I think the Hornets will push the pace, and I think that the Pistons, coming off a bad loss as well, rested Pistons team, because they've had they'll have a couple of days off before this game. I think the Pistons will be rested and ready to go. I think that this could possibly end up being a track meet. 2 really up-and-coming young teams. I bet I have some on both of these teams to make the play-in tournament. So I think that both of these teams are a lot better offensively than people give them credit for. And I think they're both in a bounce-back year, as you can see. I mean, the Pistons have already won 7 games this year. It was like January or February last year before they won 7 games. So that just lets you know how improved that the Pistons are. And these are 2 teams that have new coaches as well, installing a new culture over there. So honestly, it's a true toss-up with who's going to win this game. But I feel like that there's going to be some buckets here. I think the Pistons can do well offensively, and I also think that the Hornets will run and gun and try to bounce back here. Their offense is a lot better at the house as well, especially with LaMelo Ball going crazy over there. So I'll take a heavy lean to the over 219.5 here.
Yeah, I'm not mad at it. It's tough to get a beat. Like, for example, I have an impossible time trying to get a beat on the Utah Jazz, and I kind of have that issue the same.
I have a beat on them.
What? Go ahead.
The Jazz are ass. It's simple. They're ass.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And I've been through it all with trying to see if I can pinpoint props, if I can pinpoint a number that they will cover. It just seems like a lot of the guys over there aren't really interested in the culture over there isn't very good, right? So Jay likes the over in that Pistons Hornets. He leans that way. Likes it in the 220s,
Sean,
220 plus. Yeah, go ahead.
is Wemby playing, or is he doubtful, or what? Or is he questionable right now? I know he was out last game. I hadn't seen any update on him. That's the only reason why I asked. I hadn't seen anything. I'd say check the beat writers. This is one that, but if Wemby was to play, this is a revenge spot. They had just lost to the Jazz not long ago, November 9th. So basically 11, 12 days ago, they lost at the crib as well, 111 to 110 in a game at 6.5 point favorites. Now they're 2.5 here. We just saw them beat the Thunder without Wemby in this one. I feel like the Spurs could possibly, they haven't covered, I don't think they've covered back-to-back games all year. They will have some tough games coming up. They have the Warriors, and then they have Jazz in Utah and then LA. But I feel like this is a very winnable game for the Spurs here. Like, I'm not, Jazz plus 2.5 would mean that they would almost have to have a chance at winning the game. I don't think they're interested in winning. I think the Spurs, with or without Wemby, is probably the right side in this game.
Right now on the 8:30 Wednesday injury report, NBA.com, Victor Wembanyama is out. Chris Paul's probable. Zach Collins questionable. And if we go back, Wemby's out for right now. And if we go back to your overplay as well, Trey Mann, who missed the last game, is now probable. Miles Bridges is probable. So that helps what's going on. And Asur Thompson is doubtful. That helps offense as well when we're talking about the total there. All right, to recap, J Money is money. Waiting on the Magic, to close out the game against the Clippers. Listen to the episode. He laid it out why he likes it. I like Orlando regardless, hopefully barring any injuries, but I think it's a really good spot for the Orlando Magic to keep it extremely tight or get the win outright versus the Los Angeles Lakers, who are on a extremely soft 6-game win streak. Also, Jay leans over 219.5 in the Pistons matchup against the Hornets. Keep an eye on the injury report as always. For J Money is Money, I am your host, Sean Little. This is your Thursday and Tuesday weekly Buckets crew. We will be back next week. Until next time, let's get buckets, baby. Let's cash.